After Nate was arrested, Bronwyn is reading an online article about him which writes that the bail for Nate's release has been set to $500,000. Her mother enters her room and tells her that she had a quick call with the principal, who told her that the disciplinary committee finished its investigation and they found nothing that would indicate that Bronwyn cheated her test. Her mother also asks her if she has completed the personal statement for the application in Yale University, where Bronwyn says she can't be focused on her application while all this stuff is happening around her. Her mother says that now more than ever she has to be concentrated and focused on her goals. Bronwyn's face remains straight and tells her mother she is right, which results in her mother leaving her alone. Bronwyn grabs her laptop to write her personal statement but quickly gives up on it, texts Addie and Cooper, and she escapes from the window. Meanwhile, Nate is behind bars and he gets a visit from his family's lawyer, who informs him that if they go to trial he might get life sentence, but on the other hand, the police has offered him a deal and if Nate pleads guilty, he will be sentenced to 6 years of prison and he will be out in 4 if he demonstrates a good behavior. Nate asks about what will happen to the other kids if he pleads guilty and the lawyer says the case will be closed for good. Nate eventually says he will think about it and the lawyer says they have 72 hours to accept the offer. Bronwyn meets with Addie, Cooper, and Janae and says that they have to act fast so they can get Nate out of jail. Bronwyn says they need to play hard and bluff on Miss Avery, hoping to get some information about her. The kids agree that the one who should talk to Miss Avery is Janae, because if someone knew anything, that would be Simon's best friend. The next day at school, Janae starts the recorder on her phone and meets with Miss Avery, telling her that even though Nate was arrested, she has some evidence that would send Avery to take his place. Miss Avery says that she has no secrets, but Janae shows her some fake messages to convince her that Simon was going to write about her on about that. Miss Avery doesn't take the bait and kicks Janae out. However, when she walks out of class, she calls someone and speaks about an immediate meeting. The kids follow her with their car and they see Vanessa entering Avery's house. Moments later, Cooper drives Addie home and she finds Jake waiting for her in her room. Jake says her mother opened up and he adds he likes Addie's new personality. He says he wants to forget the last couple of months and get back with her, but Addie says she can't pretend like nothing has happened. Although Jake says that Nate is obviously the one who did it, Addie frowns, which indicates she doesn't agree with him. Eventually, Jake asks her for a date and Addie says she will think about it. Bronwyn and Cooper go to Avery's house while Addie has a talk with Vanessa on the track and both of their stories cross fact as they say the exact same things. They say that Vanessa had a serious emotional breakdown due to a personal health problem she had and Miss Avery helped her by getting her a good doctor and she even paid the doctor to not tell Vanessa's parents anything. Miss Avery adds that Simon somehow knew about it and told Avery that he would write about Vanessa if Avery didn't do him a favor. And that favor was to put the 4 kids in detention that day because Simon wanted some time alone with them. The kids get together and Bronwyn says that whatever Avery and Vanessa said doesn't mean that they are innocent. Addie says that Avery left the class to deal with the students from the other school that were trashing Bayview, but Bronwyn says that they might have been a part of her plan so she can have an alibi. Bronwyn says those students were from Laguna, and Cooper mentions he has some friends over there and he can ask around why they trashed Bayview that particular day. Bronwyn checks in with Nate and asks him not to sign the deal the police offered him because they have some new clues, but Nate remarks he will sign so the case can be closed and everyone else can be free. In the meantime, Chris helps Cooper identify one of the guys from Laguna, Hunter, who runs like crazy when he sees Cooper. Cooper catches up with him and Hunter eventually reveals that someone under the nickname Anarchist paid them online and anonymously to crash Bayview that day. Cooper returns back with the new information and Janae utters that it must have been Simon since Anarchist is the username he also used in the video games he played. The kids discuss the possibility of Simon committing the unthinkable and they call Wheeler and tell her everything about it. Wheeler says the police has rejected that scenario since there is information the kids are not aware of and tells them that the only thing they manage to do right now is to get their teacher in trouble. Bronwyn tells Addie and Cooper that they need to keep trying, but Cooper replies they did everything they could and departs since he has to return home and meet with the baseball recruiter. When he goes home, his father notes he canceled the meeting because his friend Chris has uploaded a picture of them on social media and they need to take it down before they meet with the recruiter. Cooper says he is done lying and he will try to make it on baseball by accepting who he really is. Bronwyn returns to her parents and says she can't concentrate on her personal statement because she is focused on proving that Nate is innocent because she loves him. Furthermore, asking them to bail Nate out of jail by paying 10% of the total amount of his bail. Nate meets with his lawyer once more and tells him he is ready to sign the offer, but the lawyer says there is a new twist since someone has paid the minimum amount to get him out. Addie meets with Jake at school and they end up in his house watching a movie together. Addie wants to take a nap while Jake plays some video games, but her eyes open wide in surprise when she takes a look at the screen. When she finds a moment alone, she turns the game back on and sees that Jake has been chatting with someone with the username Anarchist, which seems quite suspicious to her since Jake is also in possession of Simon's Xbox. The next day, Nate returns at school and Bronwyn tells him her new hypothesis about the case. She says that Simon was the one who set them up about the detention, and she thinks he is the one who put the peanut oil in his own water, but he was supposed to have an accomplice who would bring in a epinephrine shot from the infirmary, but instead, his accomplice stole the shots and left him to die. Bronwyn adds that Addie sent a picture to their group chat yesterday and quickly deleted it, but she managed to take a screenshot of it, showing the picture depicting Jake and Simon's chat to Nate. Addie drops out of the team's group chat, but Bronwyn still gathers them together and tells Addie to invite them over to Jake's Halloween party so they could take a look at his Xbox chat with Simon. Addie argues with them because she wants to re-establish her relationship with Jake, and Jake hears the voices and joins the meeting. Janae asks him about the Xbox chat with Anarchist, and Jake says that guy was someone he met while playing Fortnite online and he doesn't know who he is. Jake tells Addie that she has to pick between him and her murder club, while a flashback takes us back in time as we see that Simon had informed Jake that Addie cheated on him way too long ago, which means Jake just pretended to be surprised when that post exposed Addie on about that. Back in the present day, Addie goes with Jake and Bronwyn utters they need to get themselves some costumes and check on that Xbox chat anyway. A new flashback takes us back when Jake and Simon had a chat and Jake remembered that one time when they were 12 years old, he dared Simon to drink peanut oil in the school's gymnasium, but Simon backed away. Jake says that this time they are older and wiser and they can get it right and set it up so that the four kids get the blame for trying to kill Simon. Back in the present day, Jake's Halloween party has started and Cooper walks right in since he has an invitation, but Jake spots him and tells him he is not welcomed. Cooper apologizes and tells him he was only playing along with the others and he is not actually friends with them. Jake wants to throw him out, but Cooper tells him the rumors are true about him and he is homosexual, adding that he was distant from Jake because he didn't know how he would react to it. Jake asks him if he wants a drink and Cooper finds the perfect opportunity to let the rest of the team in the house. Jake returns to Cooper and tells him he appreciates his honesty while Cooper's friends look around for Simon's Xbox. Jake tells Cooper that since he hanged out with Bronwyn, he should tell her to stay away from those other kids as well, or else she will deliver her graduation speech in handcuffs. A new flashback shows us that Jake and Simon were communicating via Xbox while playing, and Jake told Simon to not put an epinephrine shot in his bag since he would just be outside the infirmary just in case anything goes wrong. Back at the party, Bronwyn and Nate have found a safe in one of the rooms and they speculate that must be the place where Jake has hidden Simon's Xbox. Addie changes her mind about Jake once more because he is way too controlling and manipulative over her and plays a trick on him so she can steal the safe's key out of his pocket. She gets the key to the safe and they open it, finding Simon's Xbox in it. Jake catches Janae and he sees a text message on her phone telling her to get to Jake's room. Jake runs in the room but Bronwyn and Addie jump down the balcony. Bronwyn hurts her leg, but tells Addie to run away with the Xbox. Addie rides her bike and Jake drives his car after her, forcing her to ride off the road. She trips over and she has to run to escape while Jake runs after her. Jake catches up with her while holding a pistol in his hand and tells her that Simon's death is her fault because none of this would have happened if she would have stayed loyal to him. Cooper tries to sneak up on Jake with a bat, but he steps on a branch and makes noise, which results in Jake hearing him. Cooper tells him that Jake never considered him a friend since he wanted to frame him, and Jake replies that he wanted to frame Addie, but things got out of hand. So he had no choice but to frame the one that everyone thought was guilty, Nate. Jake demands to get his backpack back while Addie notices that Janae is sneaking on Jake from behind. She tells Jake that they will do whatever he wants them to do and drops the backpack on the ground, which gives Janae the perfect opportunity to knock the gun out of Jake's hands. All of them run towards the gun and a gunshot is heard. When the camera shows us what happened, we see Jake was the one who took the bullet and he collapses on the dirt. 2 weeks later, things seem to be pretty normal, but Vanessa has started an Instagram live where she says that she does not believe Jake left for Mexico without telling her anything. While she talks, we also see the kids speaking to Detective Wheeler and covering up for each other. Vanessa says that the media is filling them up with lies and the murder club has something to do with Jake's disappearance. But by the end of her live stream, she thanks her followers and says that her account has grown up to 20,000 followers and she prompts everybody to share her account, as she will continue to speak the truth about the murder club. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.